Magic on the move. I wanted to do something a bit different today, and so I recorded a video about how to make magic when you're out and about. Sometimes I need to travel for work, and when I do, I wonder how to stay up to date with my channel. Clearly making props can be a bit of a challenge when I'm staying in hotel rooms and I can't take my dungeon with me. So I figured I'd need a green screen at the very least that I can pack up in the car and take it with me. So I thought I'd share my studio setup and talk to you about how to make magic while travelling around. This could be useful for bloggers, especially YouTubers that specialise in travel, or just those who run channels while being busy with work, or if you live in a small place where you can't leave your studio set up in the living room all week because your partner, husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, dog or house elf would have a problem with it, or if the kids might wreck it while you're out. So here's my setup, and to demonstrate how easy it is to make videos while you're away, I made this while I was at university a few weeks ago and dropped it into the release schedule just now. To prove that, it's my bedroom. I know I've made a video before about how you can make your very own auto cue, and that worked absolutely fine for a long time, but after repairing it a few times and then it breaking pretty succinctly and permanently, I decided to invest and buy a real one. The Leeventi auto cue is fairly cheap, lightweight and easy to assemble. I put a link to my homemade one up here, just in case you prefer to make your own. And also the link to the Leeventi one will be down in the description. And if you use my link, I get a little bit of commission and it won't cost you a penny more. So it's a good way to support this channel at no extra cost to you. Now the first thing you need to remember when you're making a video is to try to be as natural as possible. And that's all down to the way that you present the video. For me, the best way to avoid ums and ers is to record using a script and an auto cue. Okay, so whether you've bought an auto cue, and the links are down in the description as I said, or made one yourself, you need to write a script. For me, I write all of my scripts on an iPhone and then save it to iCloud automatically, where they get backed up by Apple's wizardry stuff. I do this so that they don't get lost, but also to make it easier to transfer the data from my iPhone to my iPad. My iPad is what I use to make the auto cue work. The auto cue works using a principle called Pepper's Ghost that I've mentioned before on this channel. And this principle is the same one I'm going to show when I make a ghost fish tank later on this channel. In fact, I've already used this principle in my Box of Ghosts illusion video, linked up here too. So here we are with the auto cue and the iPad, and we've written the script already. I simply transfer the script automatically using iCloud. I don't need to do anything for that. It then goes onto the iPad, and I then use an auto cue app on the iPad. I use a program called Teleprompter Pro. This is a great app because I can use multiple scripts to store each one in the app itself, and it recognizes my voice and scrolls automatically as I talk. So I don't need to speed up or slow down the scrolling, and I don't have to rely on anyone else. It does take a little bit of time to get used to it, but it's pretty effective. Next, we need to mount the whole thing on a tripod. I bought my tripod many years ago when I went to university to study media, and it's kind of had a bit of a battering over the years, but it's still going strong. This tripod wasn't cheap. I seem to remember it was around the £160 mark back in the early 2000s, so it's probably going to be more nowadays. Thankfully, the Leeventi teleprompter fits right into the top of the tripod really nicely and sits there very securely as well. It's a little delicate, but it looks cool and it works really well. Next is my phone itself, and this is a tricky one to film because I'm using it to film. Duh! But that one goes into the phone holder just there. My main problem now is that the phone itself isn't black. So I can see it winking at me sometimes when the auto cue is being used. So you might just want to use a black case to make it harder for you to see when you're reading. Now the real magic here comes from the green screen and the way that it works with my video editor, so let's talk about that. Firstly, I used to use a green felt that I bought from Hobbycraft. Now you may have already seen my previous video about how to make a green screen effect or an invisibility cloak using green screen that I linked up here, where I use green screen effects that I now discovered how to make proper green screen at home. Basically, I use the same principle, but now it's a little bit more advanced. Rather than using a felt sheet, which did work well for very many months, I decided to go for something a little bit more permanent. As I said, I bought a green roller screen from Amazon, and the link is in the description to that as well. It's pretty lightweight and it's comfortable to carry, but it's solid and rugged within reason. It does the job wonderfully. I don't think I'd use it outside or anywhere I'd expect a breeze, because it'd act like a massive sail and end up getting broken, I think. But it works well for the hotel rooms or wherever you are while you're travelling. A camper van might be a little bit of a squeeze, because you do need a bit of distance between you and the green screen, like I've got here, probably best part of a metre between me and the back curtain. So in a camper van, you might just want to use a green felt curtain like I did in my previous video. The main problem with the green screen is always going to be lighting and shadows. The green screen itself needs light, and that's not too difficult, provided that the subject, that's me, doesn't become too dark in comparison. If that happens, you get this kind of effect. The foreground looks too dark. Sorry about that. I know it's me and I should really know better, but I was in a rush and my ring light hadn't arrived yet. So this is where you need a filler light. I bought a ring light from Amazon, and it's small, lightweight and easy to transport, and I've put a link in the description to that too. This is again perfect for travellers and has a telescopic stand. It's a little bit flimsy, so be careful of that. The reason we need this is to give a diffused front light. It has a ring of light, and so no one single light source to cast harsh shadows. You could always use more than one just to fill in where the shadows actually appear if you're using a spotlight or some sort of diffused light. Now, we need decent sound. Just use a lapel mic or lavalier mic. Most people call them lavalier mics, and the word is French, so that's how I pronounce it, lavalier. Duh! Basically, it's a pin microphone and it clips to my lapel, normally. Unfortunately, in this hotel, I've forgotten one, so I need to speak loudly and annoy my neighbours instead. Clear sound is essential for good quality video, so make sure that you don't compromise here at all. Okay, so you have the teleprompter, the microphone, the background, green screen, the lighting sorted. You will need a camera as well. Most people nowadays have a mobile phone, and they're great at recording video. I always marvel at what a mobile phone can do these days, and even my old iPhone 6S can handle most things I want to do with it. So I plop my phone into the teleprompter, load a script onto my iPad, pull up the green screen, set up the lights, the fore lights, the background lights, and we're ready to go. After shooting, I obviously need to edit this, and this is where my iPhone 6S really comes into its own. I went into the Making of Harry Potter studio tour in London a few months ago, linked up here, and I took some photos of the dungeons, and for me, this made a perfect backdrop for my videos. I've also got the copyright to the photographs, so that helps too. But you could pick a backdrop from another photo, a video, or even an image that you find online, provided that you have copyright to it. I use an app on my iPhone called iMovie, and it comes from Apple, so you know it's going to work. And that's perfectly good for editing all my videos, and it even does green screen. I can drop in a background, then film myself talking to the camera. I drop this in over the top as a green screen layer, and voila, I'm suddenly in the dungeon. That way it doesn't matter if I'm in a hotel room in New York, in a trailer park in Dubai, or in my very own living room at home. Naturally, there are a few things that make this easier to do. I have another app called Thumbnail Maker, which allows me to make thumbnails for all of my videos, and 99% of the time I do that rather than using Photoshop. I also use Thumbnail Maker when I want to add graphics like this one, because I just throw it into a green screen background and put a layer over the top of my compiled video. I use the screen capture every now and then, which is native to iPhone 6S following a latest iOS update, and throw those in sometimes too. And that's your lot. That's how you make magic while you're away. I hope you found this interesting or useful, or hopefully both, and thanks very much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please do tell YouTube that it was a good video by clicking the like button. If you want to see some more of me or this kind of thing, click that subscribe button, and don't forget to ding the bell so that you don't miss any future uploads. Comment down below just to tell me about your setup too, and I'll talk to you next time. But until then, as always, stay much talk so I don't need to speed up or slow down or lull. So it's down to the way that you present. I use a program called teleprompter. so I don't need to speed up or slow down. Thankfully, the Leeventi teleprompter shoves. Thankfully, and I don't. Firstly, I use a green screen.
Please subscribe to Real World Magic.